Hi everyone, it's Christy. Welcome back to Frugal February, where we are looking at 28 items we can use from our household that really aren't going to cost us much to put in our junk journal. This is our journal for the month of February, a pink journal with tea-dyed pages and watercolor pages, and we are looking today at cutoffs and scraps and how we can. Everyone, if you do crafts, you have stuff like this. And yesterday I'd cut out a bunch of circles. I needed them for some tablets I was making, and so this is actually take two, because at first I started recording this video and I was stamping all these things and tearing them out, and it got really long. So I decided, okay, let me do some of the crafting and then get to the good part. Save some time here. So this is take two. I took these scraps like this, rubber stamped in the larger spaces in between the circles, tore them into just random, tore around the rubber stamps, inked up the edges a little bit, give them some color. And I also had some strips, some cutoffs from, trimming down journal pages, so I inked it, rubber stamped on these as well. So I have a number of things here we can work with, and we are going to start from this point. It'll be a little more interesting, I think. Let me clear a little path here. And this is just my gluey surface. So we're going to have some fun with some of the strips. So this is just a watercolor paper cut off strip, and I just tore it down to a shorter size. So let's start by just doing something simple. We're going to just glue this to the, glue these two strips together. And I tore it a little bit, but that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So now we have that we could just glue on a page as an embellishment, and there you go. Let me put that over here. And similarly, I have another one that's a little bit longer strip. And this one, it looks like I forgot to ink around the edge, so let me do that real quick. Just going to use my brown dauber. I missed one. Look at that. One snuck through. It's naked. So I have to tell you a story that I live in northeastern Montana, and Saturday it was 55 degrees here. But today, Monday, when I'm recording this, our high was -4. That was our high temperature. And I'm talking in Fahrenheit. For those of you, I know I have some viewers around the world, Australia and New Zealand, some places like that. -4 was our high temperature today. So that's kind of life in Montana in the middle of winter. It's quite a shocking turnaround. Okay. Now I kind of prepped some of these. I had some very thin strips that were cut-offs, and I just stapled them together like a little fan, and I'm just going to glue this on top of that. But anyway, since it was so nice on Saturday, I went to Billings, and that's 3 hours away. That's 3 hours each way. So I went 3 places. I went to the office store, the craft store, and the bookstore. Those were my priorities. So that's just kind of a fun little insight. And excuse me, whenever the weather gets like this where it's going back and forth, I get that little tickle in my throat all the time. So I keep clearing my throat and having to take a drink. And okay, so yeah, in my first take, I decided that it probably wasn't that fun for people to just watch me rubber stamping, and so I decided, yeah, scrap that. I'll do something a little more interesting. Okay. A couple more of these. This one, I put them in a cross rather than a fan, and I put this in the middle like that. And I don't have to glue out to the edge on these because not all of the area is going to be stuck to the little thing, so I'm just putting a swath of glue stick in the middle of it. And here we go. Oops. My paper is stuck to the glue stick, yes. Okay. Raise that up a little bit. There we go. A little bit of that showing, so I'm just going to tear it off the back a little bit. There we go. Okay. A couple more. What else can I do? I'm going to add, I think, a little bit of book page to this one. This one's getting kind of sticky. Let me tear that off. So I'm just going to put a swath of glue stick on there. Okay. That one I just added a little bit of book page behind it. It's a little bit different look. And maybe, what else? That's kind of a would-be scrap. Well, that's enough to work with. I think we'll get started with that. And so now, I'll come over here to my journal and push this aside a little bit more. Let's see if we can find places to put some of these things. And I didn't really do anything with these strips, but we'll play with them. Oh, hey, look at this. That might work. Yeah. We'll just put a couple in the book just to... Oops. See if anything else jumps out here. Alright, well, I'll see if I can find pages for those. Okay. Let's see here. I know I could use something like this. Maybe that's not the right page. Let me see about this one. I'm looking for something that's going to have some contrast to it. Okay, this one, let's go to a different signature. The reason I keep rejecting that, I found the front page of that and the back page of that, is because the page opposite was the same color, and so I felt like it had too much of the same color on that page spread. So, here we go. And sometimes, because when I use a book page in here, it's not necessarily for writing space. Let me, I'm a little bit off the screen for you. It's not necessarily for writing space, but it does give me a place to put some embellishments and just little surprises to tuck in there. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for places that I can pop some of these down, and I'm just going to pop that one right in the middle there. Use my little brayer, make sure it's well adhered. And we go to the back. Sometimes I try to remember to make sure I'm putting something in the front, the back, the middle, you know, get the decorations evenly dispersed. Okay, you know, here I like this because this is a real pale one. It's very pale pink, but against this brown, the darker tea-dyed page is dark enough that it provides some contrast. So we're going to go with that. And these are pretty lightweight. I think the glue stick will handle it. If you're concerned about, you know, it having a staple and that sort of thing, you could use a wet white glue or the silicone glue. All right, there we go. Back to the middle. And let me just see here. I'm going to tear this down a little bit. And, oops, I think I'll glue it right at the bottom of this page. Oops, I'm off camera. See, this is why I have to stand up to do this, because I have to make sure I'm staying in frame. Because I tend to migrate out of the frame area. I can hear you all yelling at me. I know. And so a little bit of glue stick on that. And I use this bottle as a brayer, and it just helps press the glue out to the edges and make sure there's no air bubbles underneath it. So that's just something I like to do. Oh yeah, there's our little triple pockets we made the other day. Now that page is kind of screaming that it needs something, so let me just take a quick look here, what's on either side of it. Yeah, I think that one will be a good... So this is all stuff that I actually, as I was cutting out those circles, I was throwing them in the garbage because I didn't intend to do this. But then I saw them sitting there in the garbage, and I thought, you know what, those have plenty of good space on them, and I'm doing a Frugal February thing, so I should pull those out and use them. Show everyone ways to reuse your scraps. For those of us who are junk journaling on a budget. Okay. One more. I'm not going to try to get all of these in. I'm just giving you some ideas. Let me see if one more pops out at me. Oh yeah, there's our nice little pocket we made the other day. And here's the other pockets. I took the stuff out of them. I wanted to make sure the glue dried, and I just never got stuff put back in the pockets. And, oh, this page is kind of screaming at me, so let's... Actually, there's a dark paint smear on here, and it's the same watercolors as this, so that'll kind of just pick that up, and I'm gonna go with that. I'm more or less on screen, it looks like. Alright, there we go. And there's a few more in here that I can add as I find places and time, and I've got plenty of other scraps that I'll be able to keep, and all of these that I've already inked up and they're ready to go. I can just put those in a little Ziploc bag or something, just have them to use throughout. So thank you for taking time to watch. I appreciate you spending time with me. I know you could be spending time in any number of places, but so I feel privileged that you're spending your time with me. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Frugal February, and I will see you in a future episode. Thanks for watching. God bless you. I love you. Goodbye.